To the London Business School, this might be a surprise, but I actually left school when I was just 16. So at that stage, I wasn't planning a big business career. I do remember when I was, I think much younger, even 11, when I went off to be interviewed to go into this very smart Catholic grammar school, and I was with my mother and this frightening rector who was there, and he looked at me and said, "Young man, what do you want to do when you leave school?" And I said I wanted to be a footballer, and my mother interrupted and said, "No, he wants to be a lawyer." Now maybe that stayed with me, and eventually I actually went to train to be an accountant initially. Probably the most valuable experience I had was very, very early on. When I was 26, I've already mentioned I started work quite young, so I'd actually been working 10 years when I was 26. But I became a partner in the firm, and I was offered the opportunity to go out and open an office for our firm in the Middle East, Dubai. Now this is 30 years ago, so think about the Middle East at that time. But it turned out to be an amazing experience. It was a time when the Middle East was starting to really grow. It was a very commercial area even then, and I just gained a great commercial experience at that time, and it's been valuable for me throughout my career. I think the best advice I ever received was from really a bit of a mentor who was a client outside of the business who I'd worked with, who told me not to leave my current job. At that time I was a young man, lots of opportunity, but was doing very well in the company where I was, and had a big opportunity, thought I'd pursue it, but he saw that perhaps one day I would be the leader of the company I was in. His advice was don't leave. Now frankly, often that is advice that you shouldn't take because a bit of variety is good for you. But for me, that turned out to be very good advice. You need to be an expert in something first of all. It doesn't matter which field you're an expert in, but you've got to have that intrinsic expertise in one of the areas. But ultimately, because we're a professional services business, what you also need, and it doesn't matter what your skill base is you have to have really a passion for working with clients, for solving clients' problems, for helping our client businesses be more successful. And that's what really is going to differentiate you. I've really got two roles in the business at the moment. I'm the global chairman, which is a role I've had for 3 years, but for longer than that I've been the chief executive of our business here in the UK. And undoubtedly the two features of the business, and I get asked this question often, the two features of the business that I most enjoy are as follows. First of all, I love winning. I am very, very competitive. All businesses have to compete, just as sports teams do, and I really do love that competitiveness, that winning of business. The second thing, and I guess over time this has become the case, I really enjoy working with younger people, developing younger people. We have outstanding young people in our organisation, and to see them tackle, increasingly at younger ages, complex issues, deal with big things for us is just fascinating. I never ever get used to that, and I really enjoy it. I definitely am the kind of leader who recognises that success in our business is all about many, many, many people being motivated to make the business succeed. And therefore I think being an aspirational leader, being the kind of leader who recognises that even when you've got to have tough meetings with people, and sometimes you have to do that, you want those people to leave the meeting feeling good, feeling empowered, feeling inspired about the organisation. So I'm the kind of leader who likes to have a very positive impact on people. At the end of the day, if I can create the kind of environment where very smart people can be even more successful, then that enhances the performance of our own business. At the same time, I'm really have a bit of a name for being fairly bold with ambition. I like to set very, very big targets. And I always do say, however, that nobody ever has to underwrite a target. I like people to buy into big, bold targets. I like them to feel accountable for them, but nobody has to underwrite a target. If you get an environment where people feel that that's the nature of the business, then you get a blame culture, and you definitely don't want that. Final thing I would say is you do have to know the detail. People have to recognise that you do know the detail, and they're not going to catch you out on that, and you are going to catch them out on it. So that's a key part of being a strong leader as well. All business is going through change at the moment. I guess for us, we have to recognise that a big part of what we do is regulated. And we have a very, very important role around the capital markets. There have been failures in the past in the corporate sector where, I mean, we've seen in the financial services debacle over the last few years where you know, first of all, the blame is placed upon the directors of the companies involved, and then we look to the regulators, then we look to government, and then we look to professions like mine. So we have to recognise that you know, we have a huge role to play. There are very high expectations for us, and you know, frankly, we have to be more attentive to this side of things. We've got to recognise that a lot of it is about perception. And just because we might argue that for example, providing services to a wide range of companies, not just auditing services, that doesn't create a problem, but the perception might be that it does. So we've got to be very, very aware of that.